This might surprise you, but people in Texas are very into their contact sports. I saw more than one infant wearing a Cowboys onesie. I was wound tighter than a choke chain on a Rottweiler, hating everything about being here. The Texas Stadium was, shock, Texas-sized, and we were surrounded by more than 60,000 popcorn-munching opportunities to go postal. Not just eating blue cotton candy, her eyes like frisbees, looking at everything. "I want big hair," she said excitedly, tugging on my shirt. "I blame you," I told Fang, and he almost smiled. We sat down low, by the middle of the field, about as far from any exit as we could be. I would have been much happier, or at least slightly less miserable, in the nosebleed section, close to the open sky. Down here, despite the lack of roof on the stadium, I felt hemmed in and trapped. "Tell me again what we're doing here," I said, running a continuous scan of our surroundings. Fang popped some cracker jack into his mouth. "We're here to watch manly men do manly things." I followed Fang's line of sight. He was watching the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, who were not doing manly things by any stretch of the imagination. "What's going on?" Iggy asked. Unlike the others, he was as tense as I was. In a strange place, surrounded by loud, echoing noises, unable to get his bearings, I wondered how long it would take him to crack. "If anything happens," I told him, "stand on your chair and do an up and away, 10 yards out and straight up. Got it?" "Yeah," he said, turning his head nervously, wiping his hands on his grubby jeans. "I want to be a cheerleader," nudged it wistfully. "Oh, for God's sake!" I snapped, but a look from Fang shut me up. It meant, don't run on her parade, no matter how ill-convinced in Texas that parade might be. Inside, I was burning up. I never should have agreed to this. I was hugely miffed that Fang had insisted on it. Now, watching him practically salivate over the horrifically perky cheerleaders, I got even madder. They're wearing tiny shorts. One of them has long red hair. He was murmuring to Iggy, who nodded, rapt. "And we all know how much you like long red hair," I thought, remembering how it felt seeing Fang kiss the red-haired woman back in Virginia. Acid starting to burn a hole in my stomach. "Max?" Angel looked up at me. I really had to get these kids into a bath soon, I realized, looking at her limp blonde curls. "Yes, honey? You hungry?" I started to wave down a hot dog vendor. "No, I mean, yeah, I'll take 2 hot dogs, and Turtle wants 2, too. But, I mean, it's okay." "What's okay?" "Everything." She looked at me earnestly. "Everything will be okay, Max. We've come this far. We're supposed to survive. We'll survive, and you'll save the world like you're supposed to." "Well, reality just shows up sometimes, doesn't it?" "I'm not comfortable in the stadium," I explained, trying to look calm. "I know, and you hate Fang looking at those girls. But we're still having fun, and Fang still loves you, and you'll still save the world. Okay?" My mouth was agape, and my brain was frantically trying to process which statement to respond first. "Fang loves me?" When I heard someone whisper, "Is that one of those bird kids?" Angel and I looked at each other, and I saw a world of compassion in her gaze that made her seem much older than 6. It took only seconds for the rest of the flock to hear the whispers and to realize that the whispers were growing and spreading. "Mom, I think that's those bird kids we saw in the newspaper. Jason, look over there. Are they the bird kids in the picture? Oh my goodness! Rebecca, come here!" And so on and so forth. I guess some photographer must have gotten pictures of us flying away from Disney World and splashed them all over the newspapers. God forbid we should be able to watch a lousy football game with nothing extreme happening. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw 2 blue uniformed security men darting down the aisle towards us. A fast 360 revealed no one morphing into erasers, but there were many eyes on us, many mouths wide open in surprise. "Should we run?" Gazi asked nervously, watching the crowd mapping exit routes like he'd been taught. "Running's too slow," I said. "The game hasn't even started," Turtle said bitterly from under Iggy's seat. "I have my money on the Bears." "You're welcome to stay here and see how the score ends up." I stood up, beginning to grab backpacks, counting the flock members. The usual. Turtle crawled out and jumped nimbly into Iggy's arms. I tapped Iggy's hand twice. In an instant, we climbed onto our chairs. The muttering of voices was swelling, rising all around us, and the next thing I knew, our faces were 20 feet high, being projected onto the enormous stadium screens, just like Fang wanted. I hope he was happy. Up and away on 3, I said. Two more security guards were approaching fast from the right. People were moving away from us, and I was glad that the stadium had a nappy-pampy no-weapons-on policy. Not even the cheerleaders' eyes were on us, though they didn't pause in their routine. One, I began, and we all leaped into the air, right over everyone's heads. Whoosh! I unfurled my wings hard and fast. My wingspan was almost 13 feet up, tip to tip, and Frank's knees were even wider. I bet we looked like avenging angels hovering over the astonished crowd. Kind of grungy avenging angels. Angels in need of a good scrub. Move it, I ordered, still scanning the audience, checking for erasers. The last batch of erasers had been able to fly, but no one seemed to be taken into the air except us. A couple of hard downstrokes and we were level with the open edge of the roof. Looking down at the brightly lit field, the tiny faces all staring at us. Some people were smiling and punching the air. Most seemed shocked and scared. I saw some faces that looked angry. But none were elongating, becoming furry, growing oversized canine fangs. They were all staying human. As we shot off into the night, flying in perfect formation like Navy jets, I wondered, where have all the airbasers gone? It sucked, but it was way cool at the same time, Gazzy said. I feel like the Blue Angels. Yeah, except the Blue Angels are extremely well-funded, well-equipped, well-trained, well-fed, and no doubt squeaky clean group of crack Navy pilots, I said. And we're a bunch of unfunded, unequipped, semi-trained, not nearly well-fed enough, and filthy mongrel avian-human hybrids. But other than that, it's exactly the same. I knew what he meant, though. As mad as I was about our being in that situation in the first place, and as much as I hated being on the run yet again, and as vulnerable as the last little stone had made us, still, the feeling of flying in a tight formation, all of us with wide, beautiful, awesome wings, it was just incredibly cool. Gatsby gave a hesitant smile, picking up on my tension, not knowing if I was trying to be funny. I sat down, struck a straw in a juice pouch, and slipped it dry, then tossed it aside and joined another one. We were hiding in the Texas mountains, close to the border of Mexico. We'd found a deep, very narrow canyon that protected us from the wind, and now we were settled on the bottom, in front of a small fire. I hadn't been this mad at Fang for this long a period of time since... never. Sure, I'd agreed with his lame but idea, but actually, now that I thought about it, it was about 6 times stupider than I realized. Said Fang, looking at his laptop. We're everywhere. TV, news, papers, radio. A lot of people got photos. There was a surprise, I said. I bet that explains those helicopters we were hearing. Are you okay, Max? Nudge asked timidly. Again, an almost convincing smile. Sure, sweetie. I'm just tired. I couldn't help shooting a glance at Fang. He looked up. I got 121,000 hits today. What? Really? He had that kind of audience? He could barely spell. Yeah, people are organizing, actually trying to find info for us. Iggy frowned. What if they get caught by the whitecoats? What are you writing about? I asked. I admit I hadn't been reading his blog, too busy trying to stay alive, etc. Us. Trying to get all the puzzle pieces out there. See if anyone can help us put the big picture together. That's a good idea, Fang, said Angel, turning her hot dog over to burn on the other side. We need to make connections. What did she mean by that? Connections are important, Max. The voice was back. I was so startled by the sudden appearance of the voice that I jumped and promptly fell against the rock wall. Instinctively, I put a hand on my temple, as if I could feel the voice running under my skin like a river. You okay? Iggy reached out and touched my jeans. He felt me jump. Yeah, I muttered, walking away from the group. I felt them all looking at me, but I didn't want to explain. Voice. A long time, no run away, I thought. You were pretty doing well on your own, they replied. As before, it was impossible to tell whether it was young or old, male or female, human or machine. I was instantly aware of a short-sighted reaction. Part of me felt irritated, invaded, suspicious, resentful. Part of me was flooded with relief, like I wasn't so alone. Which was dumb. I lived with my 5 best friends and a dog. They were my family, my life. How could I possibly feel alone? Everyone is always alone, Max, said the voice, chipper as always. That's why connections are important. I've been reading Hallmark cards again, I thought. I walked out to the end of the canyon and found myself a mere 10 feet from the ledge, then that dropped sharply into a much deeper, bigger canyon. Connections, Max. Remember your dream? I frowned, not knowing what the voice was talking about. Remember my dream about becoming the first Asian American Miss America? I thought snidely. No. The dream that the erasers are chasing you, and you run through the woods until you come to a ledge. Then you fall off the ledge but start flying, and escape. My breath left the chest with an audible oof. I hadn't had that dream since my dream had been replaced by reality that was much worse. How had the voice known about it? Yeah, so, I said aloud. This canyon is very much like your dream. It's as if you came full circle. I had no clue. No idea what the voice meant. Connections. Putting it all together. Your dream. Fang's laptop. People you've met. Places you've been. ITEX. The school. The institute. Isn't it all connected? Okay, but how? I practically shouted. I almost thought I heard the voice sigh, but probably just imagined it. You'll see. You'll figure it out before it's too late. That's comforting, I thought angrily. Thanks. Then I had another thought. Voice, where are all the erasers? Granted, the voice never answered a direct question. No, that'd have been too easy. You just don't give the rat a piece of cheese. Make her work for it, right? Shrugging, I turned back and headed to the others. They're dead, Max, said the voice. They've all been retired. I stopped in my tracks, frozen by shock. The voice was always quick with information, but as far as I knew, it had never lied to me. Which meant nothing, I realized. But dead? Dead, the voice repeated. They've been retired. All around the world, every branch of the organization has been terminating their recombinant DNA experiments. You're among the only ones left, and they're coming for you.